Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
Welcome to the Philistines, the double feature podcast. Join us as we unravel the interwoven experience of the continuous conversation of cinema. Take part in pairing movies with their cursed counterparts, movies that share DNA, or even pairing questionable duos by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Philistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films to further the discussion. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to join the 100-year conversation. This is the Philistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. And welcome back to another episode of the Philistines. Thank you for joining us today. I am joined today by my feathered friend, Lucy.
Blah, blah.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Philistines. Some recent episodes include Trolls Band Together, Brother Beer, The Holdovers, the original 1954 Godzilla, and the new Godzilla -1. Perhaps the greatest film of all time?
Maybe. Definitely the best film this year.
Good job, Takashi.
Good God. Good God. Good God. Good job.
But today we're discussing some foul play.
Alright, I'm good.
Sam Fell's Chicken Run 2, Dawn of the Chicken Nugget. Dawn of the Nugget. They're not doing the 2 part, are they?
No, they're not.
That's fine. As some of you may know, we have some history with Chicken Run. I want to say Chicken Little. Does everyone just want to say Chicken Little?
Probably.
It rolls out a little bit more.
It just rolls out, yeah.
But we were both fans of the Chicken Run back in the day, and months back we had a episode on it. Go check it out, please, at patreon.com/Philistines. So there was a little bit of serendipity happening there where we just more or less randomly covered it. I know you brought it up, and we were just like, all right, that's the one today.
Yeah, I think Netflix put it on their platform, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, Chicken Run. Oh my God, we should watch that. Little did I know they were preparing me.
Yeah, they were. We'd find out that a Chicken Run sequel was right around the corner, so we were like, oh, snap, jazz. 23 years later, that's pretty wild. And I'm not going to lie, I was probably blinded a little bit by, like, okay, they're the guys who have been making Shaun the Sheep and Wallace and Gromit lately, and they can probably do a proper sequel and stuff, but little did I know, we have Netflix yet again, or I should say just a studio yet again, cashing in on some nostalgia. This movie was very mid, not nearly as good as the original, from every angle. Performances, well, I guess, animation-wise, it's pretty tight. It does feel a little bit more computer-generated. It is. And I feel like you can kind of see the lack of imperfections kind of letting you forget that it's largely stop-motion, actually. So, I'm very curious what you have to say about Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. What do you got?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this movie. I, like you, was caught up in the nostalgia of it, the, movie of my childhood, and I was very excited when I heard it was going to come out. But it just didn't meet my expectations. And I don't want to call it mid. I think I'm set on either liking it or not liking it. And maybe talking to you will just refine where I am at on that side of the mid. But yeah, it completely misses the tone that was established in the first Chicken Run.
Yeah, it felt like we were just up for a series of gags. There was no Part of me wants to say kind of character building, character development, but there's not a lot of that happening in the first one. But it feels like there's a proper through line in the first one, and then this one there's just gag after gag after gag, and I feel like you see that demonstrated through the lack of dialogue. I feel like there's no real meaningful character moments. Even, I mean, it's kind of funny to say it's an animated, movie about chickens. So how much character can there be?
A lot.
There can be a lot demonstrated through personality at the very least. And I think the biggest, I want to say victim of it is Rocky's character. I feel like he gets kind of Buzz Lightyear-fied or something. He just really gets put on the back burner, and it's just like, who is this character now? He's just a silly dipshit, and not to mention he's recasted by Zachary Levi or whoever, which is, I mean, a perfect, like, literal kind of personification of the movie, because he is the most mid man on the world. He got replaced, Mel Gibson was the original Rocky.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the characters were rushed. It was just, here's your gang from the beginning, and that's all I'm going to give you. Rocky was a big miss, and I feel like maybe my favorite characters from the first movie were also done a bit dirty. Like, Babs. I liked her a lot in the beginning.
She's awesome in the first movie.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying beginning. In the first movie. And, Fowler. He's awesome too. He has this great arc with Rocky and this great like bromance that they kind of build, and they just make him an old chicken now. And I mean, it's the dialogue and the stupid jokes, but I mean, there's a lot here that just was missed.
Yeah. They make Fowler kind of just he kind of was just a typical vet who has all these stories and stuff, and you almost get a feeling that he misses it. And I guess Fowler literally kind of does miss it, and then it's revealed that he wasn't even really part of anything. He was just like a passenger on the plane or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's got that to share with Rocky, where Rocky's kind of lying about, in the first one, about what he is. He's not a flying rooster. He's a performer.
He's a performer.
And so there's kind of a funny thing happening there. And Fowler here in the second one, it almost feels like they just were like, all right, he's old. He's just old. Where is our story-filled Fowler? I get it's been 23 years, but it hasn't been 23 years in the movie, presumably. I would imagine only a couple.
Yeah, I mean, chickens.
I don't even know if they live 23 years old.
Yeah, not here.
Especially Fowler. He's old already, right? So I don't know why we felt the need to neuter an already established character. Like, okay, I get Babs just has less screen time, basically. She still kind of has her little quips and little cutesy things she does with her knitting and stuff, like knitting, while Ginger's briefing them on, potential danger and stuff. She's knitting like a skull and crossbones or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like little cute things like that. It's fine. But they kind of just reject any dynamic between characters, just in general. Like, I don't want to say they reject the old dynamic, for the new, because that could have been fine, but Molly sort of sucks. And then her weird immediate relationship with this random other super British chicken, I'm just like,
yeah, don't get me started on her.
I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I think Molly's voiced by Bella Ramsey too.
Yeah.
Not kind of funny.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
She's getting around.
But I didn't like that she was just okay. There wasn't something stellar that I wanted there to be.
Yeah, she's not a voice actor.
Yeah.
She's really not. I think the voice acting is pretty weak here. And
yes.
I heard that they didn't get the original voice actor for Ginger because she was too old. She sounded too old.
That's kind of sad.
It is kind of sad, but it's, at this point, you might as well just give it to her, because there's already something lost. So you might as well try to just cash in on the original cast coming together.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people bitch about not having the original cast. And honestly, I didn't really care for it. If you would have had the original cast, it wouldn't have made me feel any different. Maybe they would have had something to say regarding their characters, but I doubt it. It's been so long, and I don't know how much of a say they really get in anything else besides what they say or how they say it. So I don't really understand the hate behind not having the original cast. It's been 20 years. It's okay. Yeah, I hate how this movie was almost forgettable in my book.
Almost forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's completely forgettable after this talk right here for me. Like, I was even gonna I wanted to walk into this thing, say, yep, this is gonna be a contender for animation at the Oscars, but I'm not even...
If it is, it shouldn't be. Because, I mean, like you already briefly said, this is claymation. And we have no claymation here. One of the things I loved about one of the things I grew to love about the original was that I could see people's fingerprints. I could see people's hard work. I could see the tiny movements. And I know, yes, it's been that long, and of course we've improved how we do claymation, but it's almost like we've eliminated it. It's too perfect. It's too polished for this type of stop motion. I did notice a little bit of imperfections, but it's almost like they quickly went away in the next movement. It's like they didn't want them there. They didn't want to have them there. This could have been CG'd.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All their hard work with the medium was just kind of lost.
And they had to remake, I don't know if you know, but they had to remake a lot of the models, original models at least, because in 2005 they lost everything in a fire.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Whose fault was that? Who am I here to blame?
There's no telling.
Dang.
It's kind of funny to see two high-profile stop-motion films come out of Netflix 2 years in a row, with Pinocchio and now Chicken Run. It's kind of cool though. Pinocchio's excellent movie though. You were bored with it, right?
Yeah, I was so bored with Pinocchio. I was over it. I don't even think I finished it. And if I did, I don't remember it.
That's an awesome movie.
Pinocchio is more forgettable than Dawn of the Nugget. Damn. Just saying.
That's pretty bold.
That's my bold statement of the day. Yeah, I just can't get over how dirty they did Babs for me. She was probably my favorite characters on the, like, just the quick wittiness. And here I feel like they made her too dumb. And I don't like it. Like, just some of the jokes she made was more geared for kids.
Mm-hmm.
For the comedic relief for the kids.
Yeah, totally.
And I don't like that.
Yeah, it felt like in the first movie she feels like she's somewhere in between. She's that old person that everyone knows who's in between. Is she just an old person that says crazy shit, or does she know what she's saying, you know?
Yes.
She's that kind of old grandma type deal, and here it does feel like she's just pulling fast ones for the idiots out there, the children.
Yeah, I like that you said that she knitted that skull thing. But in the first movie, they made her knit a noose. I mean, just kind of compare that. And just, if that's not an example of how this movie, or where this movie went. And I know it's a different scenario. In the first movie, they're trying to escape
certain death.
Because if they don't lay eggs, they're getting chopped. And here they're out in the open. They're free, basically. So the immediate doom is not there. I understand that, but it just felt like a lot of that dark humor is gone. Not all of it though, but I felt like a lot of it was.
Man, I feel like every ounce of it probably was. I mean, they were in the first movie. They were sort of in what seemed to me to be concentration camp, some kind of labor camp.
Yeah,
and that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was the Schindler's List of animation.
I did like that she made that bike.
That was kind of cute, but in retrospect, it's just like, well, that was just the first of many stupid things to come.
Yeah, I feel like that was more of a nod on everything everyone's crocheting right now.
Is crocheting in right now?
I think crocheting is in right now. Or I don't know if because I've looked up some crocheting stuff recently, now it's all over my algorithm. So
Well, I feel like, post-COVID, I feel like that could have been one of those things a lot of people picked up.
yeah, for sure. This new movie feels very bright and colorful and even glowy at some points, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'm trying to kind of look at it in a eerie way. So if we bring up the place where the chickens are being held, where Molly and Frizzle are at, and they see all those chickens with the little collars on them, and they're all hypnotized, basically. They're all being mind controlled to be happy. That gave me that kind of cheerful eeriness.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw someone describe it like the walkway scene in Squid Games.
That was a definite nod to Squid Games through the color of the collar, and then with the numbers on them like that. Totally.
Yeah. And just the, kind of also Barbie Disney World land where they were at gave me enough of that dark humor.
Sure.
That this movie didn't completely lose me. Especially when they're singing that summer holiday song.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, and they're, oh my gosh, that's probably my favorite part. That's probably the coolest scene here, where they're all singing and they're all starting to march and go up, and they're talking about going on a holiday, and I don't know, just that whole scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The brightness, the unsettlingness of all the smiling and pristine behavior, it reminds me of those like drug commercials where everybody's having fun playing outside, or it's real bright. It'll be like, if your back hurts, try Trulicity. You too can have this much fun in life. Try Xanax. You won't remember another day. And so there's like this weird. Have you seen those commercials?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Where it's a commercial for a drug, but it's showing something like you would imagine at the gates of heaven or something. It's just like, this is weird. This is how it's always been in my life, so it's not that weird, I guess, but it's very unsettling and feels like a work of Sartre or something out of nausea. That's what it kind of gave me feelings of. And then of course Squid Games through the color of the collars, totally. That was a hardcore reference.
Yeah. I'd also like to add that the kind of point behind of why they're wearing collars to make them happy, it's also kind of eerie too, because I don't know how true it is that if the animal is scared right before it dies, it taints the meat or whatever people say. I have no idea if that's true. I've heard it all my life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, me too.
No clue. So I like that they ran with that,
Mm-hmm.
that idea, and that also has this kind of dark element to it. And let's just make these chickens happy right before they die, and these chickens are just walking around. I mean, it's pretty cool.
They're happy to die.
They're happy to die. So it doesn't completely lose me on that dark tone that we had from the first movie.
Yeah, but it's just it loses itself in this heist mission.
It does for sure.
But at the same time, it's like the heist mission is to get back Molly, but turns into saving all the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like everything to do with the collared chickens doesn't amount to anything. Like their presence doesn't add anything to the story, you know? So all the eeriness is just lost the moment they're saved. It's just like, well, their whole presence was pointless. It was just a platform for Molly to be trapped in.
Well, it was also what Ginger needed to be now a fighter for to free all chickens.
Which is even stranger because they harken back to that Messiah from the first film,
mm-hmm.
where we have this outsider, you know, coming in to disrupt the order of things from the inside. And they even use the word freedom fighter, which specifically is a nod to a specific group of radicals in Israel and throughout the Middle East. Like jihadists consider themselves as freedom fighters. Like that's a very specific term that refers to today in radical groups in the Middle East.
I thought freedom fighters had multiple uses throughout history. Yeah, I don't know.
And I feel like it's unavoidable because of what the first one is. And it's very much a labor camp. Or concentration camp, I should say. It feels like they know what they have, and there's this little nod to knowing that they have started and succeeded at a revolution already, now intend to continue disrupting, the orderly things that are present, like this chicken farm that they don't agree with. All of a sudden, too. It's not Ginger's motive from the beginning. She's just inspired in the moment, which is kind of hollow and definitely reminds me of, Twitterites.
Yeah, I don't know, because Ginger's had this spirit all along.
She has.
It's not all of a sudden. She had a kid now, so she feels like she has to think a different way and act a different way. Her kid here teaches her that she doesn't really have to, that she can still let go and not feel so protective.
But then it ends on her organizing another revolution.
Yes.
So she backtracks. She is no longer letting go. She's reminded of her crazy radical self, young self.
She's reminded that there's things out there that need help. And if she can help, why shouldn't she? And maybe kind of gives her a purpose that mothers lose. I don't know. I'm not a mother. I don't have kids. I can't relate with this movie on maybe something they were hoping that we could relate on.
Sure, because people who grew up with the first Chicken Run are likely to have kids today.
Right. So I can't relate there. But there's probably something to that. But I don't know.
That's fair, yeah.
I also wasn't sure how I felt about them showing us the flashbacks, or basically like a quick montage of the first Chicken Run. It felt off to me. This wasn't released at the movie theaters, right? It was only Netflix and whatever festivals. So it wasn't necessary to do that. Like, I feel like if you were going to do a theatrical release, then yeah, I could understand you doing that. We're also at an age where we can rewatch anything and everything, and we do. I feel like that's very common, or it might just be me, but if I'm going to watch something that's coming out that had a previous movie, I'm going to watch the movie before. Even with TV, new seasons coming out, if I can, I'm going to rewatch the previous seasons. So we're at this age where it's at our fingertips to rewatch something. So it felt off adding that. I know it's been 20 years, 20 something, however long. So I guess I can kind of understand why they felt like they needed to do that. But then on the other hand, Chicken Run is such a classic movie that you don't need to remind people of it. And it went long. It went pretty long. It wasn't just a quick, here's the camps, here's Mrs. Tweety, boom. It showed a lot.
Yeah, it was just a total grab at, you remember these? Remember this? Because there was no narrative reason for any of it. It was just, it was just fluff for the time. I mean, it wasn't that long, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right?
I felt like it was longer.
But it was definitely pointless. Definitely a grab at...
At what?
Nostalgia.
But we've already rewatched Chicken Run. We started rewatching Chicken Run when you put it on Netflix to remind us.
They gotta remind you that they remember. It's like, we remember. You remember?
I don't know. It just seems...
It's manipulative because that it might even indicate that they know they have lost touch with, or maybe they have no proper vision for the new Chicken Run, and so they're gonna, tie your emotion, your part of your early experience for this movie to the original. Like, remember this was good? All right, now we're gonna continue. And so you have in the back of your mind, maybe, that it was better than it actually was because there's nothing really going for this movie. on its own.
But does that work?
Subliminal messaging.
But it didn't work for me.
Well, aren't you just a smart cookie?
I'm your average movie watcher. I awe where I need to awe, and I cry where I need to cry. I cheer where I need to cheer. So I feel like if you didn't get me with this, you're not getting anyone with this.
I feel like I have to agree. Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like this is how you're gonna start out by wasting my time. Okay, cool. You've been telling me you're releasing this movie since, I don't know, April, however long it's been. I guarantee you I've rewatched it. I don't know. I had a problem with that, if you can't tell.
Is it worse? There's no way it's worse, but is it on the same level as anime giving you flashbacks from the most previous episode? I guess that comes with the territory in anime.
That does come with the territory. And my anime watching kind of consists of it being in the background while I'm doing something else. So I really don't mind some of those flashbacks. So I don't know if it's worse. I really don't. But it definitely annoyed me. Tell you what. How did you feel about Mrs. Tweety being our villain? Apparently that was spoiled everywhere in the trailers and the whatever releases.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So people were mad that could have been a great reveal.
That would have been a cool reveal.
Yeah.
Totally. It couldn't have been anyone else. If we were going to have a sequel, we had to, tie it up from both ends. Bring in Ginger, bring in Ginger's nemesis.
All right, makes sense.
Because otherwise you're going to have to tell a proper new story. And they don't have one in them because they live in paradise.
Okay.
The chickens, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. Of course, this wild youngin has to spark some kind of, new epic in the world of the chickens. So that's fine. And I'm happy that she found another after, I guess, Mr. Tweety got cooked into a pie or something.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. Someone said they divorced. I was like, did he not die?
And it's kind of fun that she has this, secret lair, secret evil lair where she does her chicken deeds. And I guess the setup to what she's doing, it works in my mind. Because I guess it feels like it takes place far enough back in time, like in the, 1950s or 60s or something like that, that it feels like this was the progenitor to, KFC or something. It feels like this was what came right before KFC, and then KFC blew up, or other chicken places blew up.
Yeah, her outfit and her makeup, her look gave me 70s vibes.
So I thought that was all kind of fun. I dare say it was the only decent part of the movie was everything she was doing with the chicken operation and how just outrageous it was.
Yeah, I like that they brought her back. I like that I didn't watch anything on this film, so I was super surprised when she came down the stairs. I got that moment that they wanted where I'm like, oh, she's back. So, they got one person here. And I liked that they gave her a cat eye eyeliner look with the claymation. Even though we just talked about the claymation kind of being more CG'd, I still like that they attempted that. That's cool. I don't know if I've ever seen something like that on somebody's face. Makeup.
Yeah, totally. It was the art style, not the animation, but the art style is no doubt awesome. But it is also one of those things where, not unsimilar to Pixar, you can't let that get in your way of the movie being good or bad. Because terrible art style can come with a really great movie, and really amazing crispy art style, like some Pixar stuff, comes with a really terrible movie. So the art direction, with the whole chicken interior playground, and then where the chickens live on the island and stuff is awesome. It really is awesome, even if it's not entirely claymation, because I know they they made everything out of clay, and then they took 3D photographs of everything and were able to manipulate it. So there is an authenticity there, no doubt.
Right.
And like you said, it does kind of lose some of its handmadeness and kind of becomes sterile here and there. It becomes a little bit more of a traditional animation where it's just, it's kind of crispy, and it leaves something to be desired because we've seen what it can be. You know, we've seen Chicken Run 1. It's amazing. That movie is amazing looking.
Yes.
So it's cool to see a very, I guess, natural choice to make, you know, Tweety look like. You know, versus something like Pinocchio, you don't put makeup on anyone, you just stylize them more, you know, or I guess any other stop motion really. You don't do little details like that, you just make them into characters.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, and I saw there's this weirdness around Tweety saying she's sexy and stuff, which is weird. That's fine.
All right.
But and I guess that was a thing in the original, so her with makeup on and then her purple dress, it's just like, or people were just hot about that, you know? It's
Mrs.
just,
Tweety.
yeah. I was like, all right, this is a thing. This is happening. And so the makeup, you know, really, and I guess it's funny that you bring that up about the makeup.
That's fun. Yeah, that's funny that you bring that up about them finding Mrs. Tweety attractive now. New man, new job.
And she got like a new man in this one
Yeah.
too. We saw her. Maybe the focal should have been on her.
That would have been cool. That would have been pretty cool.
We just see that would have been cool because we see her doing her chicken operation, and it would just be a weird vibe because it's just like, are we really on Tweety's side right now, or Mrs. Tweety's side right now? And then we see Ginger, you know, fucking her operation, and then maybe we're anti-Ginger all of a sudden. Maybe there's kind of this duality happening between the two movies.
Yeah, everyone's all about the like villain side of the story now. Hey,
Yeah.
Mrs. Tweety. I'm surprised she didn't die when she got cooked. She just got battered.
She got, well, maybe. Did she just get battered?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, she should have been fried, right?
The batter protected her? Is that what we're getting here?
No, that's not how it works.
No, because
Yeah,
That's
she should have
not how it
died.
works.
She should have died, totally.
I wish they would have killed her then. And
It-
she would have just came out as a big ass chicken nugget.
It would have been so innocent, too, because she would have come out as a big chicken nugget, and we would have just been like, is that Tweety? That's all you can really
Yes.
say, you know, and then we move on.
Yes.
And that would harken back to that weird adultiness of the first one.
Yes. And just get rid of that whole thing with her climbing on top of the truck and axing a hole and trying to get them. That
Yeah, but they just wanted to remind you of the getaway scene in the first one at that point. It's just like, with the axe and everything. It's just like, please stop.
like we already got that up there when they were with Rocky.
Yeah.
We got your moment here with them getting away and she's about to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I wish she would have been a big ass chicken nugget and let it be up to everyone's imagination.
And that other guy, like the guy she was working with, could have, like, his face, that would have been priceless if we could have seen his face of a big ass chicken nugget come out, and it, you know, the size of a human, size of a Miss Tweety, and he's just like, what the fuck, you know?
Yes, maybe
That'd
have
been awesome.
like a slight purple boot out or something if you wanted to appeal to the kids, but no purple boot. Just man, that would have been great.
And then they could make a little joke being like, well, she was never very happy.
She always knew those chickens would kill her. One more thing I want to talk about is just the kind of parallel reference of the two movies when we have one chicken that's being singled out. And I love that they did this. We have the one chicken here who gets turned into nuggets. She's our example. She's walking up there into her heaven, and
Which was another great scene.
yes, great scene. She boom comes out chicken nuggets. They eat her right there. I mean, oh my god, it's great. And it's I feel like it's a little nod to Edwina in the first movie that didn't produce enough eggs. And she gets singled out and gets her little head chopped off. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. That's so morbid, but it's so cute.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like that. I love that they did that. That's how you do like a nice little nod to the original.
Totally. And they made a really interesting creative choice, giving all of the collared chickens, giving them their collar and not letting them have any personality. So all the personality can be stuck on Molly and Frizz and the original bunch and stuff. And so they make a really, deliberate choice there so we don't get lost in other personalities, but then we forget that all the other characters have personalities. It's just like, what happened here? I wish we maybe could have just gotten a new group of chickens in the new chicken farm, just with Molly and 2 others or something.
Yeah, because this chicken is number, whatever, 305. I don't know what number she was. But from the first movie, I remember her fucking name.
Mm-hmm.
It was Edwina. So a lot of the personality was lost there.
Yeah.
Like feeling bad for these chickens. So.
And they could have really run with maybe that she's a lot like her mom. That she sparks this revolution internally and they break out on their own. We just get a total repeat of the first one. That would have been much better.
Yeah.
Than a heist. Just totally reset the playing field, and then it might be even funnier because instead of Tweety having her nemesis Ginger, right, we just get the impression that she is in way over her head dealing with chickens. She's dumber than chickens. That would have been funny too.
That would have been funny too.
Apparently, I'm rewriting this.
All right, that's fine. I'll watch it. Yeah, I saw an interview with the director that he didn't want this to be called a sequel.
Ugh.
That it was more of a reboot and not even an homage to the original. But more like he wanted the audience to visualize it as a reboot.
Is he stupid? That's dumb. That's a dumbass thing to say. You're making a Chicken Run movie. There's one other Chicken Run movie. Molly's parents are Ginger and Rocky, excuse me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's not. Either he's.
Is he thinking that because he thinks this could be a standalone movie?
Maybe. I guess then it could be, but that's a pretty lousy explanation. Because what's the point of it being a Chicken Run movie then? What's the point of it having Ginger and Rocky and the rest of the crew? I know you neuter them along the way, but you do land on, oh, Molly's just like her mom. Okay. So it's not more than anything. I bet you that's just PR talk. He's trying to build a little hype for the movie. It's something fresh. It's something new. It's like, no, Sam, you know what's happening here.
Yeah, same story, new perspective. I don't know.
They got that Netflix money and they were like, all right, we've been signed to make a Chicken Run movie. We don't have a story to tell.
We don't have a story to tell.
So what do we do? Because, they landed, excuse the pun, they landed on 2 legs in the first movie, right? It's a perfect bow. They wrapped it up. They got away. We see the island. We see the potential for new life. The bow is in place. We're good. There was no need for a sequel.
There was no need for a sequel.
It's the kind of, I know they imply like making babies at the end, right? But that's the kind of so-called cliffhanger that lets the characters live in the back of your mind that they're gonna live on. They're gonna just continue trying to make the best of the world. That's that kind of cliffhanger. That's not a sequel cliffhanger. Kind of like in Godzilla -1, where we know what we just covered. It's a similar situation where there's no story cliffhanger, right? There's a symbolic kind of cliffhanger at the end of Godzilla. I guess I won't spoil it here. but it's not so explicit that there's gonna be a sequel kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know, kind of like the recent animated Spider-Man movie with
That's
Miles.
exactly what I was thinking of.
That's a massive cliffhanger
you
that if
need-
you don't clear up, I'm gonna blow my fucking brains out.
Exactly. I'm still waiting. That still haunts me every once in a while.
Yeah, so that's different. So, yeah, I don't. Sam Fell's it's just PR talk.
All right, Sam. I hear you.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the pacing of the final scene where they're trying to press the button to stop the collars, so to stop the chickens from marching and, killing their friend chickens.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird.
It was very weird.
Why?
It was so weird and they knew they were taking so long that our chickens were becoming parallel with the assembly belt.
They were.
Like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is this taking so long? What should have happened, that should have been where Tweety basically dies, right? We get this big, like, what the fuck? And then she comes out of Chicken Nugget, and then it's another kind of, what the fuck? It should have been relatively quick, probably half the time. But that was odd, yeah.
I understand the need to build up suspense, but that was way too long.
Yeah, you don't build up the suspense when the control is in Ginger's hand.
It was in Molly's hand
Yeah.
for the longest time. And then it was in Ginger's hand for the longest time.
It's like, what is going on?
Can someone press the fucking button, please?
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. That the other chickens were like parallel to the belt, really. That was funny. Is that what they were going for? Something humorous? Because it didn't land.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Like, way too long for it to be humorous.
And they tried to give Rocky another moment.
Yeah.
But we've already neutered him. We Buzz Lightyeared him. He's a non-character all of a sudden. Like he's just the dad.
Yeah.
The bumbling dad, I should say.
Yeah. And then you gave him a weird dance sequence to remind us that he's a performer.
Yeah, I guess so. That's probably why.
Okay. Cool. Absolute no use to the rest of the story, but alright, he can dance and he's a performer. I was listening to an interview with the animators that they had to develop a different smile set for Ginger because in the first movie, she didn't smile a lot. And in this movie, she smiles a lot throughout the film. So that kind of just signaled to me, how do you not notice this tone difference just based off of Ginger's smile? Based off her happiness level here. I don't know. I don't know if there's something else that I needed to interpret from that. That Ginger's happier now with a kid. I don't know, but it just really sparked a tone difference with me, with them saying that.
Yeah, which I don't think would have been an issue if they could have played with that a little bit more. Like playing with like false happiness or manufactured happiness, I should say. And playing with sheltering your child a little bit. I'm not sure what that would look like. Because I thought we were going to kind of have a coming of age story with Molly, but she didn't really, nothing.
No, she didn't do anything. Yeah,
we didn't really get anything out of Molly's character other than that she was an adventurer. So yeah, I mean, it kind of, I guess that was just I don't know. I guess it shouldn't even be weird that she's smiling, but it adds to the tone that doesn't really sell itself.
Yes. And
I'm just like, with you, I guess. I'm just like, I don't really know what we're going for here. Like, I feel like this, all the problems could be solved if we just had a different perspective through Mrs. Tweety. You know what would have been really cool is if the trailers were all focused on Ginger and Molly and like at the crib and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the movie comes out, it's all Mrs. Tweety. No Ginger, like no perspective from Ginger and Molly. You know what I mean? Like just a false trailer.
And the trailer could have been shot from like above. Like someone tall is looking at them.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
They should have had more fun with it. They should. They just.
Yes.
It didn't seem like they had fun making this movie.
It seemed like they had fun in very specific places.
Yeah, like the playground, the chicken
Yes,
playground.
the chicken
totally.
playground. Pretty much it.
Yeah.
And the Miss Tweety stuff. But man, what a miss. I guess the last thing I want to cover is a lot of things. A lot of different people commented on how this was like a vegetarian film, like a vegan, anti.
How it wasn't?
How it is.
Oh.
An anti-eating chicken film. And I don't know about you, but those nuggets looked pretty good.
Yeah, those nuggets stuck out.
Yes, they look crispy. They made you want to go get chicken nuggets.
They actually make the whole slaughterhouse operation thing look pretty humane.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it to us too. They, you dope them up with something, you put a collar on them to make them, happy, and then they live their life out. No matter, how short it is. Yeah, and then the nuggets stuck out, like, graphically. I was just like, man, those are crispy looking nuggets.
Yes. Yeah, I don't understand why the need to pinpoint this movie into that, like, in that direction. I don't get it. I nothing in this movie sparked don't eat chickens. Yeah, these chickens are cute. They have families. They have feelings. But that doesn't make it a don't eat chicken film.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
If anything, it really just sparks this idea of, man, chickens are crafty little bastards.
Eat the chickens.
They're too smart.
They're too smart.
Yeah, I don't think you'd ever see something like that come out of such a storied British studio. British think they're too funny, so they would never have something to say about not eating chicken, Now, if an American studio made this, I could see them trying to lean into that, which could be fine. Could work. I thought you were going to say that it didn't embrace. I thought you were going to get into people criticizing something that's not there, as in
they need to embrace it.
Yeah, as in they need to embrace it. Yeah.
No.
I thought that's the route you were about to go right there, because that's the popular thing to do, to criticize something that's not there.
Oh, well, they're criticizing something that's also not there.
Well, they think it's there, I guess. So it's a little bit different. It's a little more fair criticism, I would say, actually.
All right, good job, people.
+1 to the people.
+1 to the people.
Yeah, no, it's that would have been a funny thing. I could have even seen, I don't know where it'd fit, but like a little flash to like a field of like milk cows, like hearing about, like, I don't know, some joke is made and then we get this weird random bee flash to cows making a face about, maybe the chicken says, I wish they would eat more cows, and then it flashed. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like how Chick-fil-A has the cow saying,
yeah,
eat more chicken.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I could see a little funny nod to that. I guess that would have been a straight up nod to probably Chick-fil-A.
That still would have been fine. That would have been cute. But yeah, it saddens me that this movie was not what I wanted.
Yeah, I didn't really expect much going into it. I guess I immediately thought, oh, it's gonna be a coming of age film, but it turned into a heist, I was just like, okay, and it turned into, now we're the brain power of future revolutions. I'm just like, all right, this is where we're going.
Which is fine if they would have kept the claymation that we all love, and if they wouldn't have made the stupid jokes, if they would have tightened the dialogue, still have your heist mission, still have whatever you want to have here with your story. Because you're right, the ending of the last movie gave them free will to do whatever they wanted, really, with these chickens. But they completely lost some of the things that I thought at least would be here in this film.
It's not British enough.
Damn. You telling me I like my British?
You like your British humor?
My British humor? I do like my British humor. You ever see that show, Idiot Abroad?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, that's a good show.
Well, man, that was a movie, and this was a talk. Thank you for this. Thank you for watching it with me.
Thank you for being there while I watch this.
Do you have a budget guess for me?
I do. 75 million.
75 million. That seems pretty reasonable.
All right.
There's no conclusive budget guess or a budget out there because it's a Netflix movie and they don't like releasing those numbers because that would give only that much more data to the public, only indicating how much money is kind of being thrown around at Netflix. And they want to keep that under wraps because they don't want anyone knowing how much people are getting paid. They don't want anyone knowing how much budget this movie is getting, how much movie this budget's getting over here. They don't want any of that going around.
So they can keep increasing my subscription price?
Exactly. But I'm going to guess this movie probably floats around the $70 million mark. Yeah, for sure. Because we lose a little bit of the time spent with, the claymation side of it because they're making these, they're taking 3D images of them, and then they're manipulating them. Is there a more expensive route? It's hard to say. It really is because fewer people can work on the claymation of the production, but a lot of people can work on the CG part of it. So it's hard to say. But I would guess probably real close to $70 million. So I think that's an excellent guess, especially with nothing conclusive out there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And it seems to be making this round. It feels like it's one of the more popular Netflix movies of the year. Fine. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't like this movie in particular. I think it's very fine. I think it's still very mid. Have you leaned one way or the other?
Nope.
I think it's an extremely mid movie.
I feel like some of the high points are a little higher that keep me from making a decision. Like that summer holiday scene. It was too good.
Yeah, totally.
Too good.
But then the voice acting was so just, what the fuck? And then what they did to these characters was just so bizarre. So I hear that. Yeah,
and the more I learn about some of these films and how these films are made, I'm finding that stop motion and claymation is probably one of the coolest behind the scenes stuff I've seen. Like if I were to pick somewhere to work in the film industry, I'd probably gear towards stop motion. So maybe there's a little special place there.
Sure. That would be unfortunate.
Because of the clay shortage?
Because of the clay shortage, yeah. But because there's just not very many stop motion projects out there. So you'd be very limited in where you can work and if you'd even have work. So
I mean, it sounds like I could just get some clay and make a movie myself.
Yeah, you could. I wanted to report to everybody the Letterboxd general consensus.
Hit me.
It's sitting at a 3.3.
3.3? All right.
And it's weighted on the 3s.
All right.
It's a little high, if you ask me. What would you give it?
I originally gave it a 2.5. So I'm right there with them.
Yeah. That looked like that was the high mark.
Yeah, I was hoping to get kind of pushed to a 3 for me, but I don't know if it did.
What would you give the original?
I'm not sure what I gave the original, but probably a 3.5, if not a 4. So
glad to hear it. I'd give it a 1.5.
Wow. You must have hated it.
All right, you guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Filmistines. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes over on patreon.com/Filmistines, Spotify, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Remember to leave nice reviews, comments, concerns.
Go give us $1.
Go give us $1 at our Patreon, please.
To pay for a Netflix subscription. That'd be nice.
Come by our Patreon also to leave a movie suggestion.
Ooh.
Freebie. Anyone come by.
I'm gonna come by.
What are you gonna suggest?
I don't know. I didn't know it was anyone.
But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines, signing off.
Gobble gobble. Bitches.